Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here with me again today. I just want to start by saying how grateful I am for the energy that you bring into this space. It's always an honor when someone trusts me with their attention. So I appreciate that. Um, Today's reading, I just want to read a quick note here. Um, Sometimes a strong man is immersed in the middle of the sea when he has bad luck, but he is not drowned. Okay, this is the diver. The diver gets its name from its constant diving. With its head bent down toward the deep, it often gathers the signs of the wind beneath the waves. And when it foresees a sea storm, heads to the shore with a cry. Ovid always also says of the diver that it loves the sea and is so named because it dives into it. This symbolism especially fits those who never become despondent when troubled by difficult and harsh circumstances, but withstand everything by themselves with a brave and constant heart, and at last struggle out of it. These are impossible to drown in the waves of adversity. And that's what I really feel about these cards that you see here. This is someone who is very motivated, right? Um, they are following their heart, they are working toward their passion, okay? And they're working at bringing something new forward, right? Um, this is, you know, burning the midnight oil, right? It's doing what you love and being so drawn into it that it's like when the diver dives into the sea, right? He's in it, he's after something, he loves the sea. And so the sea becomes sort of a home, a support, a language, right? And this person is much like this. Okay. Now, these cards here, right? See the courthouse here and here with the child in the middle. And I really feel very strongly that this is spirit coming forward. It's like there has been some sort of adversity. Whoever this is may have felt like some unseen force was working against them, right? Um, may have felt like things were going a little slower than what they thought they would. But they're not swayed by that. They're not worried by that. They still have this fresh new start, this purity, this innocence about them. And that would be that child, right? That childlike spirit, where everything is new, everything is fresh. And some reason here, it's like this has been brought to a sort of spiritual court, right? Where spirit is listening to two sides of a story. Okay. Something has been done, something has been said, and spirit has picked it up and said, enough is enough. Let's weigh hearts here. Okay. Now, the person who's working on their passion, the person who's burning that midnight oil, who is learning and studying as they go and mastering their skill, who doesn't lose their motivation, right? They may have felt it, like I said, but may not have realized, say, the spiritual severity of what was going on, right? Um, behind the scenes. Okay. So I just want to pull some cards here and find out. Let me see which ones, what really was going on, because it's like the diver. You can change territory very quickly, right? As much as the diver loves the sea, when it's called forward to the land, it goes. It may not like it so much, so to speak, right? But it follows that call. So this can be quick changes in direction, um, kind of like as you desire in a way too. I also feel like the mental realm very, very strongly. So there's definitely something there that has been felt, right? Now let's find out what is this being brought forward by spirit, please. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is someone who's really, they've mastered the elements here. Okay. And they're manifesting a great wealth over here. Um, the Chariot, the Prince of Wands, that can be that quick change in direction, right? Um, give me a second. I'm just feeling this because I feel like it's a good change, right? It's almost like once you realize that the slowdown or any setbacks that came along were not you, right? They weren't anything you were doing wrong. Once you realize that, I feel like there can be a quick change in the direction of the mind. Like sometimes if things aren't happening the way we expect them to or want them to or think they should be able to happen because of the work we've done, when it doesn't, we kind of go back to the drawing board and we keep going back to the drawing board to try and figure out what is not working, as if it's something that we have done or something that we have missed, right? In this case, it's like something working in the background. And I feel that is about to be removed. And it may result in, or from what I'm seeing here, will result in a quick change of direction, right? You may receive that aha, that mental breakthrough that says, oh, wow, I would have never imagined this is it. Like I'm on my roll now, you know? Um, Let me see. That chariot is also victory. It can be travel, right? The Prince of Wands, that would be your Page of Wands. That's receiving that new spark of inspiration, right? It's excitement. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Here's your background. Okay, now this might have something to do with strategy. You might even be working on a particular strategy. But it also says to me, there's like conflict, right? Going on below the surface. And so while you may have your direction, you may have what you need, it's like you sense there's something is not right. And that to me would be what is actually kind of been out of your control. Yeah. Okay. Definitely somebody behind the scene and the swords, in the thoughts, in the mental arena, the voice, the mind, right? Sleeping or not sleeping, but having nightmares. This is those nights spent awake worrying and worrying and worrying about the Seven of Swords here, about the action that was taken, right? Behind the scenes, below the surface, while this person here is burning the midnight oil. It gives me this feeling that it's like they see you possibly working alone, right? Like you spend a lot of time um alone working on this passion, and this can be perceived as a weakness, right? As a weak spot to some. And especially I feel for those who are seen as talented. It's not your first rodeo. You're coming out with something new, right? Which you've done things over and over and over again. This is mastery. This magician is mastery of all of the elements. You have everything that you need to bring about this change and direction. And it's like somebody has tried to put some stumbling blocks there, right? Now, I don't feel like it is stopping things. I don't feel like it's stopping things at all, especially here with the Wheel of Fortune. Time is up on the shenanigans. Whatever those shenanigans may have been that were taking place behind the scenes, I feel like the only thing you really need to know is time is up. This situation has been weighed by spirit, and you have come out innocent in the fact. There is a fine and delicate balance, a universal balance that must be had in order to maintain harmony, right? Within the universe, within the galaxy, within this life on Earth, right? And so to maintain that balance so that we don't all spin out of control and lose ourselves and our life in the process, right? Planetarily speaking, galactic, universal, here in this life. There are certain rules say that when those scales tip too far to one side or the other, a higher power, a higher force steps in and balances those scales. And we have experienced that in humanity as a sort of weighing of the hearts, right? Um, there's in this industry, in the spiritual industry, right? We talk about karma, we talk about calling judgment on our enemies, we talk about, you know, returning to sender and things like that. But in my experience, you know, as I have grown and become a bit wiser, I have learned that when we call judgment on someone, we better be prepared to have our own heart weighed, right? There has to be something that it's weighed against, right? So it's not just the one we're talking about. When we call judgment on someone, and we especially then work against them based on that judgment, if there's an error in our judgment, it will tip those scales too far one way or another. And now those scales are being balanced. I really feel that way. It could lead to travel. But I feel strongly that it is leading toward a either quick change in direction or a quick change in energy that brings you from being or feeling as though things are moving slow to the point that they are moving very quickly, right? So all of the planning and the preparation and the study and the practice and the checking and the rechecking, it has all been for this moment. The chariot, also victory, right? Despite whatever this is behind the wheel of fortune here with the 7 of swords and the 9 of swords, right? This is someone who knows they failed. They know they've done wrong. There's no doubt about it. Now, I also feel that they know their time is up and that spirit is calling them out. I feel there could have been gossip. It may have been the sort of thing where someone really underestimated you, or someone spread some rumors that were untrue, right? That caused others to then misjudge you as well. Spirit does say there is a gift incoming as a result of dedicated effort and perseverance. So you have won this court case, right? This could even be a court case around either slander or thievery or that sort of thing. But there is a gift incoming, and it is a result of your hard work. They're also saying just sit back and let this play out, right? God's got this. Your higher power, your angels, universe, source, they are stepping in and stopping this. And they are honoring and praising you for your ability to stay lit in the darkness. So for someone out there who's been working, you know, um, on their passions diligently. I mean, this is someone who is really motivated, they're dedicated, they have the wisdom of this industry, right? They've worked with these skills and these talents, these elements long enough that it's become part of their life. And through that lived experience, they now have this wisdom, right? They're bringing this into a sort of structure. And this is very most likely has to do with some sort of spiritual industry, like being in service to others, being in service to humanity. It is having received that call from the soul, from the heart, and answered it and worked diligently to bring that forward. And so, Spirit is really honoring that for you. Um, oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I want to shuffle these again real quick before I pull. Sorry about that. Let's shuffle them up real good. Mm. Whoever this is with the Seven of Swords, the Nine of Swords, they had no idea who you were, how spiritually aligned you are. This is someone who they really didn't put a lot of weight on your spiritual practices or your spiritual beliefs. Um, oh, sorry, just a second. It's like they tried to conquer or came at someone who had already conquered a lot of those inner demons or inner gremlins, right? But they themselves have not conquered that at all. Not at all. Yeah. And with the courts here too, they may have manipulated things in such a way that they did break a law, like a physical law. So we'll see. Um, huh, yeah. So spirit really sees the root of things. Yeah. Spirit is really seeing the root of things here. They're seeing the root. And this change is going to bring some rejuvenation. You may feel a gust or a burst of rejuvenation. If you have been feeling sluggish or less motivated than normal or less inspired, keep going. They're honoring the fact that you have not quit. And they're saying, keep going because this rejuvenation is coming. And someone definitely made a deal with the devil here. You know, um, like I said, whether or not you're aware of it, I don't feel like that really matters. There's really nothing that can be done to change things at this point. I mean, the decision has been made, right? We have the eye in the sky here, sees it all. You may have felt it, like I said, but spirit saying, just sit back, let it play out. We've got this. We've brought it before the higher courts. You've been found innocent here. They absolutely love that you have not given up. They love what you're working on. It is of great value. It holds a deep wisdom and a power to influence others. And I feel some activation, like yeah, I'm feeling a sort of activation right now. I want to see real quickly because when this comes in, that's some pretty quick energy. It's going to bring a fresh new start. No, of course, they're throwing cards everywhere. Hold on just a second. Oh, wow. Okay, we have, all right, positive imprint. I choose to leave a positive imprint of light in the world through my thoughts, words, and deeds. Not the Seven of Swords, right? So it's like while you've had the polarity of this working in the background, you've been able to maintain a sense of positivity, which is really important when we're working on those passions. And I feel like I'm speaking to someone who knows that. It's like someone who says, okay, I'm working on bringing this out. And while there is negativity swimming around, right, I am not going to allow that negativity to become me. I am not going to put that negativity into this project. It's like you're keeping this project clean, right? You're not allowing those projections and those setbacks or those slowdowns to really affect the energy that you're pouring into this new creation. This could be a new job. It could be a new business venture. It could be a new position at work, right? It could be an elevation in position. Someone has seen how positive you have remained, and they are really taking that into account, right? And it's going to bring a gift. Yeah, for all your hard work, your dedication, all the effort that you've put into it, your ability to persevere. And here we have inevitable success. I choose the goals that align with my deepest truths, and I achieve them with passion and joy. No wonder spirit loves you, right? No wonder they've stepped in, because at some point, whatever that was, crossed a line, right? And it's being removed out of your way, and things are safe. They are safe. They are secure, right? You have a safe haven here. It's a sanctuary. Your home may even be a sanctuary. You may just naturally set up positive spaces around your work area, even. That positivity and that light and that joy that you bring into what you're working on and what you're doing adds a whole new level of protection to your creation. And that, I suspect, is why this back down here didn't work out. And here we have, yeah, point of no return, endings, finality. It's lights out. So, whatever was going on there, what to slow you down, whatever, if it was, like I said, rumors, lies, gossip, somebody has found out the truth, right? And it kind of reminds me of, when you're working for someone and you have a position come available and you're the perfect candidate, right? But you've got someone else who is just, for whatever reason, they want to take the low road, and they may do sneaky things to trip you up or to change the perception of others around you about who you are and the work that you do. Um, in this instance, they obviously went too far, and it reminds me of one of those fall from grace types of energies. So let me pull, I have this little diary of a black sheep spiritual deck. So I just want to get a card out of there and see what they want to bring forward. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, so we have two. I'll read them quickly. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I feel like, you know, those it's meant to resonate with, it will resonate. If none of this resonates, that's okay. Not every reading is for everyone. Um, but here I have, in your solitude, your spiritual gifts are becoming more powerful. There are powerful truths that are being discovered, giving you more insight of your purpose and why you've gone through so many changes. You now realize how inauthentic you were when you had false relationships with inauthentic people. Though life is quiet, you now have the ability to hear the intuitive messages much more clearly. Absolutely. This is someone who is listening to spirit now. You may not have listened to spirit in the past as strongly, right? Those inauthentic relationships, it may have been that they saw this change in you and really did not take it seriously, right? Or they just kind of threw it to the wind, right? Underestimated what you were working on there. And the other one says, you are a strong spiritual warrior possessing the ability to evoke change in others. Music is very healing for you and is powerful in transforming others as well. Everything that you speak, think, and visualize shapes your reality. And once you've mastered your internal reality, you possess a great ability to influence the experience of others. Yeah, this is someone who mastered themselves, those elements within, right? You may have even had to go in and find those areas where you were sabotaging yourself by the choices in people that you had around you, right? We've all done that. Trusted a little too much and someone who really didn't deserve it. And I think that you have learned that keeping your inner circle, right, authentic, keeping it truthful, keeping it honest, right, walking with integrity. This is someone who works with integrity. They hold a place of honor here spiritually. And I feel that is manifesting in the physical realm also. So just stay patient, stay diligent, don't give up. You're right there at your breakthrough. Spirit has already stepped in and said, we are turning this situation around for you. We are balancing these scales out. Things are about to pick up very quickly. So definitely start tying up any loose ends, right? Get ready to get moving. Congratulations. I know what it's like, believe me. And I honor your path. I know it's not been an easy one, but it is very much worth it. So I will leave this here with you as I return your energy to you, pure and whole, and receive my energy back, pure and whole, so that only love remains. Peace.